A game of chess. Long, long ago, there lived a king who loved to play chess. We don't know much about him, but for the sake of the story, let's just call him Chaturranga of Shatranjpur. He was a brilliant player and no one could beat him at his favorite game, chess. Of course, everyone in the kingdom wanted to play chess with the king. Imagine how grand you would feel if you could tell people that you're just coming away after playing chess with the king. That's how everyone in the kingdom would show off. But Chaturranga found it irritating to play chess with rank beginners who didn't distinguish a bishop from a knight. One fine day, an ignorant player maddened the king by wrongly addressing the queen and the king pieces as pawns. The furious king then declared that any player who lost to him at chess would be beheaded. Now, of course, no one wanted to lose his head just for the sake of playing chess with the king. So, they stopped pretending to be chess players and Chaturranga finally heaved a sigh of relief. Many months passed by. Then one day, a young girl from the neighboring kingdom came to his palace. She took up the challenge to play a game with the king. She looked bright and smart. Still, he felt sorry for her. Listen, dear girl, do you know anything at all about chess? I mean, being a girl, you might prefer playing with dolls. King Chaturranga, said the girl, whose name was Preeti, very patiently, which century are you living in? This is the 15th century and we girls have come a long way. Of course, I know chess and have outgrown dolls. I also know wrestling and archery for your information. The king smiled doubtfully. If you say so, he said, nodding. But it is my duty to warn you. If you lose the game, you lose your pretty head too. So think again before you challenge me. Preeti continued to smile. Yes, Your Majesty. I know that probably I will lose the game and my head. But on the other hand, I may win. Then what's to happen? Impossible, snorted the king. No one has beaten me for years. But if by some luck you do manage to win, you can have anything you wish. Thank you, Your Majesty, said Preeti. But all I want would be some corn. And let it be measured by a chessboard. That is to say, for the first square on the board, I get 1 ear of corn. For the second, I get double the previous. And for the third, double the corn in the second, and so on, until all the 64 squares of the board are accounted for. Chaturranga was very amused. You could have asked for gold, jewels, or even a part of my kingdom. Instead, you ask for a corn, just like a woman. Preeti merely shrugged her shoulders. Your Majesty, excuse me for saying that you don't know women. You will see that my victory here will be a double win. Well, we shall see, laughed the king. And he ordered one of his ministers to fetch the chess set and sent another to tell the executioner to have the sword sharpened. The game started well for Chaturranga. His bishop gobbled up several pawns of the girl. Then her black knights fell and then 2 bishops. But Preeti still looked quite unconcerned. And you would never think that her head was at stake. Then the king, feeling quite overconfident, made one wrong move. Preeti grabbed the opportunity, and the next time the king looked at the board, he was horrified to see that he was checkmated. He had lost the game. Well, well, said Chaturranga, clearing his throat. You were right, and I was wrong. Girls are pretty smart these days. And you play chess quite well. Then he asked her, before we began the game, you said something about a double win. What did you mean by that? I'll explain that after I receive my prize of corn, replied Preeti. The king was still curious, but he ordered that the corn be measured as she had asked for. The chief minister hurried away to do so, but after an hour, he returned looking very dazed and bewildered. "Your Majesty," he stammered, "the storekeepers tell me that if you take 1 ear of corn and double it 64 times according to the number of the squares on the chessboard, the total number of corns comes to a figure well over 18 million. "What's more," said the shaken minister, "the storekeepers tell me that if we employ 100 men to work day and night, it would take many years to count such a huge number. But that does not really matter because we do not have so many years of corn in the kingdom, nor can we grow so much in a lifetime." The king was dumbfounded. When he recovered his composure, he told Preeti, "Well, you've certainly had a double win. You won the game, and now I cannot pay you the reward I promised. But you've taught me a lesson. A game is a game and cannot have serious conditions attached to it. In future, there will be no more beheadings. I will play chess for the enjoyment of the game. And never will I underestimate the intelligence of women." King Chaturanga rewarded Preeti with expensive books, precious manuscripts, gorgeous jewelry, and silks before she left for her country. And from then on, the palace gates were kept open for all aspiring chess players, even those who did not know a bishop from a knight. But King Chaturang treated them with more sympathy. He appointed a smart young man as his official chess representative, and only those who could defeat him were allowed to play with the king.